Does that tree have you worried? Want to get it cut down before the next storm? You need to call Max Tree Service and Land Management for your free estimate. Don't wait till it's too late. Call us today at 601-695-1717 or check us out on Facebook. Max Tree Service. Buying Dirt is presented by 601 Sports, Bruce Gray Land Pro, Casco Cleaning Solutions, Chase Buckles Mortgage Advisor, Culbertson Cattle Company, Culbertson Concrete Pumping Service, Kirk Douglas Heating and Cooling, Levi Patton Farm Bureau, Southern Ag Credit, Southwest Mississippi NDA Branch, Southwest Mississippi Wildlife Expo, and United Country McDaniel Gray Realty.
Good morning, Southwest Mississippi. Welcome to Buying Dirt. We are excited to be here this morning. Keith, you excited?
Man, I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm excited.
We are not going to mess around this morning. We're going to get right to our show because we have a special guest with us. And before we introduce our guest, I want to tell you a quick story. Last week, of course, we get the local paper, which now is one day a week. The Daily Leader comes out, and I look on the front page. I get the paper at home, and I look on the front page, and there's a picture of a bullhorn. And if you don't know what a bullhorn is, it's literally a horn that's cut off a bull from years ago, or a cow. And it was an interesting story. It was a horn that was owned by a local individual who says that Davy Crockett, the one and only Davy Crockett, Keith, who served as congressman years ago and then who later died at the Alamo, one of the greatest American legends, actually blew this horn when he was running for Congress back in Tennessee the first time. And so it was an interesting story about the horn, about how it was handed down from generation to generation. And the other layer to it is this individual says that he's related to Andrew Jackson, which we know, of course, served as president. The famous Andrew Jackson, who led troops to New Orleans to keep the old British from coming in here and changing the way we talk, right, Keith? So
that's right.
So it all ties in together.
Booted them out of knowledge.
So long story short, we have with us this morning Mr. Ronnie Spencer. Mr. Spencer, how are you today?
All right.
Let me tell you the story how I caught up with Mr. Spencer. So I saw the article in the paper, and I was like, I got to talk to this guy. So I text a couple people I know. I said, do y'all, of course, it said in the paper he was a longtime ag teacher at Lloyd Star. So I was like, somebody's bound to know this fellow. And sure enough, I ended up getting in contact after 2 or 3 people, and they said his son works at 601 Sports. Well, I go to 601 Sports all the time, Keith. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine.
And just so happened his son's name is Justin, and I know Justin. I've talked to him 100 times in there. So I go in and I tell Justin why I need to get in contact with his dad. And his dad, Justin says, look, you're just going to have to go out there and see him. He's probably going to be sitting outside. He said, just go out there and see him. So sure enough, I roll up out there, and sure enough, he's sitting outside. And we got to go up to him and talk to him, introduce myself, and here we are. Mr. Spencer, it's good to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was actually born in Waukegan, Illinois, which is north of Chicago, on the banks of Lake Michigan. And
You saying you a blood Yankee?
Well, you got to remember now, my mama and daddy grew up northeast Mississippi, northwest Alabama. And when I was born on January the 7th, there was about 4 feet of snow on the ground, my mama said. And as soon as the trains could run, me and her come back south. And
we get those phone calls all the time. People, I got to come south. I'm tired of this snow.
Yeah, well, and that's how I think 3 or 4 or 5 months later, we wound up back in northeast Mississippi, the other side of Tupelo up there. And so I was raised there at northeast Mississippi, and I lived with my grandma and grandpa basically until I started at Mississippi State. And one claim to fame about being raised up there, I got to see Elvis at the northeast Mississippi fair they have at Tupelo. And so I went to Etowah. I graduated there at Tremont High School, Etowah County. Went on to Etowah Junior College on down Mississippi State. majored in VOAG, and I wound up teaching vocational agriculture, and that's what I'm doing here. I taught at Lodestar a long time.
How many years did you teach
Well,
there?
I taught 11 and a half years at Scuba over in Kemper County.
Okay.
And I come down here and taught 20 and a half, which would make 32, but the lumber fell on me in fall of 2006 and tore my back up, and I had to quit teaching.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
That's about my life.
Yeah.
But I like Lodestar.
Yeah, it's a good area out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good folks.
All right. Tell us a story about the horn. And I know it's pretty detailed, but tell us a little bit about how old it is, where it came from what you know.
When the Jackson family came across from, I think, Ireland, but anyway, Europe, we'll just say Europe, they came across and they landed on, our ship landed there in one of the Carolinas, and they brought this horn and an old leather trunk case with them. They had clothes something in. And they moved here and there and wound up living in Tennessee. And my grandma that gave me this horn, she was the last child of that family. And the family generations would always give it to the last child. Mm-hmm. Well, she got it on June 7, 1907, which is scratched on the horn.
Scratched on the horn, that's right.
And she was fixing to get married, too. She was about 15, I think. And so she wound up, she got married and had 4 boys, and 3 or 4 boys and 2 girls. And time went on, and, of course, she kept the horn, and my mom and daddy divorced, and I'm going to tell the truth. He turned into a bad alcoholic, and my mama couldn't take it no more. So we every two or 3 weeks on the weekend, I'd go over and stay with my grandma the weekend. Somebody'd carry me and somebody'd come get me and all that kind of stuff. And I remember 2 different times through those years, her brother, I didn't know who he was at the time, but I can remember them arguing, and just my grandma was a real Christian. She couldn't stand all that arguing. Mm-hmm. And when she gave me this horn, on down through the years, she said, "Ronnie, this is what my brother Lige, his name was Lige Jackson, he had a horse farm in Illinois. This is what he was wanting." Said he was wanting this horn because he knew that one of the great grandpas let Davy Crockett blow it at Davy Crockett's first time he ever run for anything. At a stump speaking, they called him, Uh-huh. And when the local people that was running for something, everybody knew him. But when he got up on the stump, nobody knew him, and he couldn't get nobody's attention, so he borrowed this horn from my Grandpa Jackson, great-grandpa Jackson. And he blew the horn 3 or 4 times and got everybody's attention then. And he gave the horn back to my grandpa. I'm just going to say grandpa, but it's great, whatever, right. And he gave it back to my grandpa. And that was when he gave the speech about, I done forgot that.
Keith has that right here. Go ahead.
This is when he gave his first.
This is what he said after he blew the horn. Go ahead, Keith.
He stepped up on his stump. Nobody's paying attention to him. And he said, "Let me borrow that horn." He blew on it. Everybody stopped, got to look at him. And here was his introduction to the crowd. "I'm Davy Crockett, fresh from the backwoods. I'm half horse, half alligator, and a little attached with snapping turtle. I got the fastest horse, the prettiest sister, the surest rifle, and the ugliest dog in Tennessee. I can whip my weight in wildcats and eat any man opposed to Andy Jackson." And that was how he introduced himself to the folks in the crowd.
So it's a pretty interesting story. And we have with us here in the studio the horn that was used that day.
Have you ever blown this horn?
I used to blow it good, but I tried it at the house last night, and they told me it sounded like me passing gas.
Oh,
I couldn't blow it.
So
I get that.
It was given to your grandmother. I think it has her name inscribed on it with the date, 1907.
Yeah, it's not her. It's her daddy's.
Oh, sorry, her daddy's. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Now, June 7, 1907 is when he scratched that on there.
That's right.
And you can tell it's old.
Oh, it's very much old.
And with this horn, and like I say, the old leather trunk-like thing. She gave the leather trunk to my cousin, Kathy Palmer, that looked up all this history right here. I've got it in a folder. She spent a lot of money and time to get that done. And it's in there about how Davy Crockett blew the horn.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you have here with us, I know people can't see it, but I'll share this on our Facebook page. You have a picture of your grandfather or great-grandfather?
It'd have to be
Great-grandfather and his wife, and her name was Yellow Feather.
She was a full-blooded Cherokee Indian.
And if you look at his coat in this black and white picture, and this picture was taken was right after the Civil War.
Right.
It's right after the Civil War.
I don't know what the date says, but.
Well, it says 1865 is what it says here.
Okay.
So I guess it was during the Civil War.
Right.
Basically. Yeah. But anyway, it's got a picture of your great-grandfather, and underneath this coat you can see something bulging. And of course, it stands to reason that's probably the horn underneath his coat that's hanging around his neck.
Between where he buttoned it up,
That's
over
right.
to each side, you can see something sticking up, on it.
Pretty much carried this with him just about everywhere
Right,
he went.
right. Well, they used them.
Which
They
was
didn't
common,
just,
yeah.
They just didn't use them to, like for hunting anything. They would, back then, if somebody was in trouble, everybody had a horn. They'd blow a certain kind of volumes or whatever, a certain amount of times, and they would always do it late of the evening when it was quiet.
Yeah. It was a form of communications.
Right.
It was,
People would get out on the front porch and listen at night just to see what was going on. If somebody's in trouble, they'd take off that way the next morning, or some of them at night, to help their neighbors.
That's a good.
Nobody lived by each other back then.
Yeah, it's very, very rural setting. And so, ironically, Mr. Spencer, you currently live on Jackson Liberty Road.
Yes, sir.
And when I went out to visit with you last week, we got to talking about the very road itself. It really is a small world. Jackson Liberty Road was named after Andrew Jackson and his troops traveling. Of course, that road stretches from Jackson to Liberty, Mississippi.
Right.
But also it was the route they took to New Orleans,
Right.
The War of 1812. So,
And, I done showed you my old chimney sitting there that I found a brick in that says Kent,
yes, sir.
and which is the oldest landmark left on Jackson Liberty. But it's amazing to think I live 150 yards from where they marched right through.
Right through there.
Back then, it was just a trail.
That's right.
When that chimney and that house was there, it was just a trail.
But we have to remember back in those days, there wasn't roads like there are now all over. It was just a few roads scattered around.
Right.
And they were mainly just trails, really just travel corridors.
Yeah.
So it really is interesting. You live on Jackson Liberty Road. You're related to Andrew Jackson. And
Way
you
off.
got this horn that's related to Davy Crockett.
That's really kind of how the Jackson wound up in this area when he traveled through. A lot of Jackson, your ancestor came and settled in the area.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I may be kin to him, Andrew Jackson, but it's a way off,
All right, you mentioned the brick, so tell us a little bit of the history of that brick. When I was at your place, you actually gave me one of those bricks, and I have it on display at my office.
Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was up there one day looking at the chimney. About half of it's gone, but all the bottom part and all still in good shape. It's about 12 feet tall now, and I got to looking at some of the brick that fell off of it, and it had KENT stamped into them. And I thought, well, that was a brick company around here somewhere in Lincoln County, probably, or somewhere around here. So I got to thinking about it, and I brought it up here at Mr. Wayne Wallace at the Market Basket. I figured he said, I ain't got no idea. So he got one of the ladies that works with him to go in and get on the computer, and she walked back in there in about 10 minutes and said, y'all won't believe where this thing come from. That brick came from Kent, England, which is, about an hour's drive southeast of London. And she showed us also a picture of one they had found in Water Valley, Mississippi, which is North Mississippi. They was redoing something there in the town of Water Valley. And a brick showed up, and one of the guys picked it up and got to wiping the dirt and all off of it, and he seen this KENT. So, of course, they cleaned it off, and they took a picture of it. I think that was 2013 when the paper up there at Water Valley, somewhere in that area, come out and showed him holding it. And so I called Mr. Campbell up here days later and just explained it to him. And I didn't say I want to come put it in the paper, you know. He said, bring it to me. So I brought one of them up here, and of course he looked up the Water Valley picture, and I said, that's something. I got a chimney full of them, you know. And
that's something.
So, like I say, those Kent Brick brought on Mr. Campbell, got talking to him about anything else in history I might know or whatever, and I said, yeah, I've got a horn that's got
pretty interesting.
True, I believe it. I believe every bit of it, because you can look at all this paper right here in this folder.
Yeah, you have a folder full of documentation that was kept over the years. It really is interesting. All right, so let me ask you this: where does the horn go from here?
I've got when I got it, my daddy hadn't remarried, but he remarried through the years, and he had another son, my half brother. And I feel the thing to do is, he's younger than me, you know, give it to him, you know.
Keep it in the family.
And keep it, ask him to keep it going, you know, because I'm 71. I think he's about maybe 50 or 45. And he lives in Red Bay, Alabama, which is in northwest Alabama, sort of diagonal northeast from Tupelo, where's Red Bay's at, not far from where I was raised.
Yeah.
And I think I ought to give it to him.
Well, Mr. Spencer, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you coming in and sharing this story with us and sharing your time. And Keith, go ahead.
It's a great story, and along the lines of Davy Crockett having had his lips on this thing, as we know, his second term of running for Congressman, Andy Jackson, they didn't agree with each other's policy. And Davy Crockett spoke out against him a lot, and Andy Jackson kind of got him shot down.
Yeah, the story goes that Andrew Jackson, of course, introduced the Indian Act of whatever, I can't remember the year, but basically he's one that basically forced the Indians to travel out west to Oklahoma and other parts of the country. And Davy Crockett was a congressman at the time. He was very much against it. Yeah, very outspoken.
Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears. And of course we know that shifted and changed history. So,
and you know, my great-grandmother there is a Cherokee Indian, and I've got Cherokee Indian on my mama's side too. So
yeah.
When his second bid for Congress failed, I'm going to read to you. I read how he introduced himself. I'm going to read his exit line here. He says, since you have chosen to elect a man with a timber toe to succeed me, you may all go to hell, and I will go to Texas.
Which is what he did.
Which is what he did. And then y'all know the rest of the story.
Died in Alamo. Up in the Alamo. Tragic ending, but man, what a life! What a life!
But it's funny how, Mr. Spencer, we appreciate you sharing this with us. It's
Absolutely.
A great tie-in for everything. But
yeah, we appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Welcome.
All right, everybody, have a good week, and we'll see you next week right here on Buying Dirt.